Hi there, your head coach Steve Hopkins, and I wanted to chat for just a quick minute about a subject that you could be getting inundated with. I know I do often, and that's working with employees that don't know for sure what they want for the career path, right? If we're having these career conversations, right, that we should be having, talking to our team members about what their aspirations are, what they love, what they want to become, where they want to go, and then reflecting on what our role is to actually make that happen. That's all good and well intentioned, right up until you kind of hit a wall where somebody says, "I don't know. I really haven't thought about it before," or I'm kind of frustrated because I don't really know the answer to that question. And so, what do we do in that situation? Well, I wanted to give you three tips that I found to be really helpful in these situations. Real quick, easy things that you can kind of think about, kind of practices, if you will, that might just help you navigate this question, this prompt, and then even this journey a little bit. And the plus side at the very end, I'll talk a little bit about one of the benefits that come out of this as far as the relationship. But what to do when an employee is trying to figure out what their career goals are. The first tip I have, and I've done years and years and years of recruiting, talent acquisition, career pathing, career counseling, placement, right placement, all those things having to do with talent. And so these are just my own simulation of things I found. But the first thing is what I like to call help analyze patterns. And what I mean by that is help them be a little insightful to answering the question about what they like, what they find interesting. I even like to call it optimizing for interesting, which just means starting that conversation along a little bit. And even if they don't have the answer to your question, like what do you find interesting or what are your passions, ask them to start to do some reflective work on that. Even a 1 week timestamp, just say, what did you find interesting in what you did this past week? Or journal about it for this upcoming week, and let's talk next week. What did you find interesting that you took on, or that you walked through, or that you got to do, or what got created for you? And just start looking for some of those patterns. It could be a once a month check in and just say, hey, our homework is to kind of find the things that in the past month we found out we really enjoyed. What task did you stumble upon, or what new piece that I or some of your team members gave you that you kind of were surprised at, like, wow, that was interesting and fun to do. And start looking for some of those patterns of interest. The other pattern that's really great to look for is um, the patterns of competence, all right, or confidence. Two words, right? Competence or confidence. And again, all we're looking for is, hey, what's the answers to your questions about those things, your prompt about what did I feel like I was good at this past week? Or when did I feel the most confident in the roles I played, the conversations I had, the tasks I did? And just start having them jot that down, and you can jot that down too because you're helping in this journey, and so you're learning while they're learning, maybe, right? For many, many people, it's the first time some of these questions have been asked, even though it's been in their head, and it comes out in the way, excitement, but not really knowing what I'm excited about, or frustration and not knowing really what I'm frustrated about. All right. We usually get excited by doing things we're passionate about, that we're competent in and confident in. And we get frustrated when we're asked to do things outside of those things. All right. So that's a first one. Help with some patterns. Help the discussion of patterns. The second one is what I kind of think is just expanding their view, or expand on their worldview, if you will. Give them opportunities to play around in some new spaces. All right. It's just like what I think about with education or part-time jobs or whatever. Kind of play the field a little bit, try some things so that you can know, not so much for me, or, oh, more of that, please. Right. Well, we can do this in our jobs as well. Extra projects, stretch projects, even swapping roles with people for a couple of weeks at a time. There's nothing wrong with just saying, hey, I want to run this as an experiment. I'm going to pop you into a different department for a little bit, breathe a little bit of that air, come back, certainly work to contribute in that space, but what'd you think of it? All right. And expand that, push out the boundaries a little bit and help them with some new experiences. All right. It can be really, really helpful. This is a great way for you and a peer to work in synchrony as supervisors and say, hey, we will be happy to swap out employees occasionally for 1 week at a time just to accomplish expanding the worldview. All right, you can call this whatever you want, micro rotational experiences or just expanding worldview, whatever the case may be, but those are really effective. All right, the last one is just a little temperature check, and that is don't get too over-indexed. Don't steer too hard, if you will. And just because sometimes we can become the coach that is driving this, and it's a couple things happen. We get a little too pushy in this. Or first of all, it's like, hey, the things that we suggest, we want you to like, right? We want that other person to like. And so when they don't, we get personally disappointed. It's like, why didn't you like my idea or my experiment? And sometimes it's about the tempo. You know, we're just so focused on the destination, the discovery of what you want for your career, that it's like, hey, did you figure it out yet? And it just adds pressure. Just be willing to just be that mentor going on a journey. And the journey has its own tempo and pace, right? If they're okay, you can be okay. And we're just trying a few things to kind of help unearth the answers for them, their answers for them to this question. Okay. So anyway, 3 quick tips. Hopefully those are helpful for you. And if you ever stumble on that response as you're trying to make sure everybody on your team has a plan, doesn't mean a promotion or a job change. It just means a plan of development, because all of us want to grow and develop. And you get stuck because they don't know the answer to your own question. Don't fret. Take a breath. Remember these 3 tips, and I think you'll be on your way to helping them help themselves. I'll look forward to seeing you on the other side of the river.